Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are moving higher this morning, with S&P futures up 0.13%, Dow futures up 0.2%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.15%. Global stocks have extended a record high as confidence has grown with traders that inflation will prove transitory, leaving a scope for continued central bank support. As faster than expected U.S. consumer price growth for May was driven by economic reopenings, analysts have held to the notion that the price pressures may ease later in the year. The Feds have set a higher bar for reconsidering its dovish stance, so CPI data really only continue to fuel risk appetite across global markets. The U.S. central bank's view that inflationary pressures are temporary is dominating global markets, signaling that any policy changes would be gradual, and this also held true for Europe, as the European Central Bank raised its inflation forecast and renewed its pledge to maintain faster emergency bond buying to sustain the euro area. The 10-year U.S. Treasury yield held around 1.43%, which is its lowest point since early March. The benchmark rate will likely reach a 12 basis point decline this week. Elsewhere in markets, crude oil consolidated above $70 a barrel amid an improving demand outlook. Over in Europe, stocks rallied with the Stock 600 gauge heading for a fourth weekly increase. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, Shane, I've been watching the S&Ps all night long and even this morning, and, they're trending higher. There's nothing you can say. They are trending higher. You saw that CPI data come out yesterday, and it definitely showed inflation was hot. The market rallied, and I just felt that wasn't strong enough. There wasn't really a catalyst behind that rally upwards, because that was hotter inflationary data. Using the point that the Fed isn't going to raise interest rates anytime soon is a known factor. So I'm really cautious. I just don't, I see little basis for a directional move higher without an additional catalyst. Earnings reports are few and far between these days, and the focus is really turning on to next week's Fed meeting for more cues on the monetary policy. It's about the tapering. It's about the tapering of the bond buying program, that $130 billion a month program they have instituted. Don't expect that to be to be talked about in next week's meeting, but I don't expect any changes till August or September in the tapering signals from the FOMC. Over in Europe, I see the European stocks are positive. Expectations are that the central banks are going to remain accommodative despite the signs of rising inflation. So that's a good sign. I see Biden's in England. He's attending that G7 meeting, and that G7 meeting is going to focus on the coronavirus pandemic. There is a group of 10 senators that are trying to revive hope for a bipartisan deal on that infrastructure bill. Mitt Romney and some Democrats have agreed to pitch a $1.2 trillion 8-year infrastructure spending program to the president. This is causing the raw materials to start showing gains. If you look at the steel stocks and other raw materials, they're really showing some good positive movement this morning. Banks are a little weak, but we'll see how the day progresses.
Moving into our earnings to watch today, it looks like Chewy did pretty good. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, Chewy came in with a nice beat. Those guys beat by 9 cents. They did it on higher revenue. They even increased guidance. The stock popped to over $80 on that initial report. Then it sold off to a little bit. Now it's down a little bit over 1%. Why? Because they're having issues with labor. There's labor issues going on inside of Chewy, which the feeling is it's going to hurt them in terms of finding workers to deliver products and goods to clients requesting them. Dave & Buster's, that's ticker PLAY, Play delivered a nice beat as well. It was 56-cent beat. It was done on higher revenue. They also increased guidance. You look at Play this morning, the stock's up 5.6%. So that was a good earnings report from Play last night.
How about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
There's nothing going on today. There's nothing going on tonight. And, it's really getting to be that light period for earnings. But, next week, we do have some good companies for releasing earnings, like Oracle. They're going to release Tuesday after the close. The EPS estimate is $1.31, and right now it's priced for a 4.91% move. H&R Block is also releasing Tuesday after the close. Their EPS estimate is $5.13, and the estimated move is 6.12%. Lazy Boy, they're reporting Tuesday after the close. EPS estimate is 74 cents. They're priced for an 8.54% move. Lanier, the home builder, ticker LEN, Larry Edward Nancy, they're releasing Wednesday after the close. The estimates there are for $2.36 with a 5.4% move. Raw material costs are getting higher, lumber's getting higher. We're going to see if they're going to be able to beat. I've been noticing, some put activity in Lanier lately, so I'm a little cautious there. Kroger, ticker KR, that's Kilo Richard. They're releasing Thursday morning. The EPS estimates are at $1, which is a 5.83% move. And Adobe is releasing Thursday after the close. Their estimate is $2.81, and their price right now for a 4.49% move. But that's what I'm seeing for next week, Shane.
Moving into economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports.
It's a relatively light day on the economic front. At 9 a.m., we have the consumer sentiment. This is the University of Michigan's report that's due out. At 1 p.m., we have the Baker Hughes rig count, which is also being released. But that's all I'm seeing on the calendar for today.
Well, moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Novan, ticker NOVN. The company has reported positive top-line efficacy and safety results for the phase 3 study of its antiviral gel for treating a contagious skin disease. Novan's share price is up 25.33% in pre-market. In other news, ChemoCentryx, ticker CCXI, has jumped about 16% in pre-market as it has become one of the highest trending tickers on a stock-based social media platform this morning. News on Becton Dickinson, ticker BDX. The company has partnered with USA Swimming to provide COVID-19 testing at USA Swimming events. In other news, MKS Instruments, ticker MKSI, has offered to acquire the specialty chemicals group Atotech, ticker ATC, which has a market value of $4.7 billion. Atotech's share price is up 6.12% in pre-market. News on NVIDIA, ticker NVDA. The company has agreed to acquire DeepMap, a startup dedicated to building high-definition maps for autonomous vehicles for their navigation. NVIDIA's share price is up 0.34% in pre-market. In other news, Archer has debuted its Maker aircraft in LA just yesterday, where the company built a 2,400 square foot XR volume space that simulated a commercial flight. Atlas Crest, the merging partner to Archer, ticker ACIC, is up 0.3% in pre-market. News on BlackRock, ticker BLK. The company has reportedly secured approval from the China Securities Regulatory Commission to launch a wholly owned mutual fund business in the country. BlackRock's share price is up 0.87% in pre-market. News on Deutsche Bank, ticker DB. The company has been asked by the European Central Bank multiple times in recent months to name a successor to Chairman Paul Achleitner as his term end nears. 3 German men have been shortlisted, and the stock exchange chief, Theodor Weimer, is the preferred candidate, according to sources. DB's share price is down 1.89% in pre-market. News on Amazon, ticker AMZN. Amazon Web Services will be opening an infrastructure region in Israel in the first half of 2023. The government of Israel has announced that it has selected Amazon Web Services as its primary cloud provider as part of the Nimbus contract for government ministries and subsidiaries. Amazon's share price is up 0.18% in pre-market. Lastly, for me, news on Carnival Cruise Line, ticker CCL. The company has laid out plans for the next wave of summer restart of guest operations, which includes Mardi Gras 7-day cruises from Port Canaveral, as well as 4- and 5-day cruises from Miami to the Bahamas and Caribbean. Carnival share price is down 1.64% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific sectors. I'm looking for specific events. I'm looking for specific industries. This way I can jump on the hot news stories as it's breaking to really start to achieve some price momentum and put some quick price action. I'm looking at my FANG alerts this morning. The one story that's really, sticking out to me is one where it's talking about the House Democrats are set to reshape the antitrust laws with 5 new bills. The bills are being written to shake up the U.S. antitrust climate. The most aggressive would let prosecutors sue to break up major tech companies by forcing the platforms to sell off lines of businesses. If they represent like a conflict of interest, then there's another bill that's under consideration that would prohibit online platforms, so, such as Amazon, from giving, their own products or services an advantage over those of rivals that depend on the same platform to reach consumers. So it's kind of a negative for, some of these FANG stocks today. I look at Amazon, and British's regulatory agency is planning a formal completion of its investigation into the e-commerce company. Google said that Google came out and they announced that the UK Competitive and Markets Authority said on Friday that they will have an oversight role into Google's planned removal of third-party cookies. I look at Apple, and there's news out there that Trump's Justice Department sought Democratic lawmakers' phone records from Apple. And Tesla, I see Goldman Sachs reiterated its buy rating on Tesla. And this really illustrates the tech leadership after the company started their deliveries of their Model S Plaid. So, that's pretty interesting to me. I go over to my Dow Jones 30 alert, and Johnson & Johnson, the U.S. is halting new J&J COVID vaccine shipments to the States because it's really not as needed as they ordered too many. So they're going to probably use those in other areas. Intel, I noticed that Citi is highlighting in a research report a number of red flags and negative data points of the PC food chain. But there is a report out there that's saying that that Intel has offered over $2 billion to buy this startup SI5. These guys designed semiconductor chips. Notice a little unusual option flow going on in Walgreens Booth Alliance, that's ticker WBA. Call put ratio was 7.1 to 1 yesterday. In terms of other option headlines, there were unusual. Dropbox, that's ticker DBX, David Boy X-ray. The June 11th weekly 30s and the June 21s 30 calls are really the most active, and the volumes of there are really pretty high, and that kind of rather unusual. Also, MoneyGram, that's ticker MGI, Michael Grace, India. Implied volatility jumped 7 points yesterday to 81%. The August 21 13 calls were very active. And of course, as I was saying about the raw materials, Cliff Natural Resources, that's ticker CLX, Charlie Larry X-ray. They saw real positive call activity yesterday as raw material stocks continue their trend higher. Steel manufacturers have been out there, and they're saying that they're going to cease taking new orders. So that's going to push these steel manufacturing stocks even higher. In terms of events today, extended stay, that's ticker STAY. They're having their shareholders meeting at 8:30 a.m. this morning. Etsy, that's ticker ETSY, at 9 a.m. They're having their shareholders meeting today. SeaWorld Entertainment, that's ticker SEAS. They're having their shareholder meeting at 11 a.m. And FireEye, 12 p.m. this morning, they're going to be having their shareholders conference. So it's worth listening to that FireEye conference going on today. I think there might be something interesting coming out of that. In terms of guidance, I noticed that Chewy raised its net sales guidance for this year to a range between 8.9 to 9 billion, and that's year-over-year growth of 25%. So that's pretty good. And Snowflake, that's ticker SNOW, they provided strong product revenue targets of $10 billion by 2029, which is really impressive long-term outgrowth. We'll see if they're able to do that. That's ticker SNOW.
Well, moving into our Trade Talk picks for today, I'm picking Novan, ticker NOVN. Problem with this one, it's a low float stock, which I normally don't like to do, but it does look good. The phase 3 top line results it produced are very positive news, and you're seeing the effects of that this morning as the stock is running very high. It's up 36% in pre-market right now. It was a $9 stock. It's up $12. So that's the thing. It's a really low price, and this is something that's not going to hold. Coming to open, I think it's likely we can expect to drop. So if it drops low enough within the first hour, this is one I think we can get into and see a little bit of a gain by the end of the day. So I think you got to watch this one closely, take your gains where you can see it. But I think if you see a good drop on this one, it's going to be one where we can get into and we can see some positivity from. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
I know what you mean. It's there's not a lot happening out there today. It's Friday. It's the summertime. You're not seeing a whole lot of real positive plays in terms of events today. But my pick today is going to be Tesla. It's ticker TSLA, Tom, Sam, Larry, Apple. It's essentially an analyst play. I mean, Goldman coming out and reiterating their buy. The company started deliveries of their Model S Plaid. This is an identifiable factor that Tesla really does have the lead in technology leadership and position in the electronic vehicles. So, it's been really weak as of late, and this is the type of catalyst that could regularly drive the stock higher. There's other stuff going on out there as well, but this is, I think, the best pick for today, going long Tesla this morning.
Moving into what's hot off the press, this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. That's going to be moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, Bill, looking at our headlines streaming in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about?
Oh, let's take a look at McDonald's. That's ticker MCD, Michael Charlie David. McDonald's disclosed a data breach. They were hit by hackers in South Korea. Another firm that was hit and announced this yesterday was Electronic Arts. They said that they're working with law enforcement officials to investigate a data breach in which some of the game's source code was stolen. So these data breaches are continuing.
Stock watch for us. Magna Chip, ticker MX, has jumped 17% in pre-market after a 35 per share buyout offer from Cornucopia.
Here's one on Netflix, NFLX, Nancy Frank, Larry X-Ray. They launched a shop stocked with limited edition items tied to its shows.
One on Alm Brands, ticker ALMB. Looks like they're set to buy Codan DK for about $2.52 billion. There's a G7 summit open in Cornwall over in England that's going to be at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Pacific time. Curis, ticker CRIS, is reporting positive data from its ongoing phase 1/2 study of CA4948, which is a treatment for leukemia. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing. I'm not seeing much today.
Yeah, slow day. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you can receive the same breaking stories that we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Lastly, moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Thursday. I had Alibaba, ticker BABA, which opened at $213.50, quickly shot up to the day's high. Wasn't too high, but it was the day's high within the first 30 minutes, trading to $214.54. Shares dropped lower from there, but they had a few moments where it was nearing highs again between 2:30 and 3 p.m., which was a good time to sell for 30 minutes, where the stock was still running higher at around 214 and 20 some odd cents, 23 cents. So the gains were small, but they were there, and the stock ended up closing lower at 213.07. So you could have made about a half a point on this one. So it wasn't terrible. Would have liked it to run higher, but next time. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
I had JP Morgan yesterday. Now, the stock opened up high. They opened up at 164.36. Now, it hit a high of the day of 165.25 and closed at 160.40. When I picked it, in the early morning yesterday, the stock was only up 40 cents in the day, and it really just moved higher from there. And it opened up higher, and then it went a little higher. Then the bottom fell out as soon as that CPI number came out. It didn't react the way I would have liked it to, but it wasn't a great pick. It wasn't. If you got in early, you made a little money, but it did finish lower than it opened at, and that's not what I like to see.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk with Traders. You know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.